no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is not. And I know that God is everywhere, in the trees and in the air. When I feel like I have lost my way, I just open my heart and I hear His Spirit say, there's no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is not. No matter what you think or do, God's right here inside of you. And I know that I am not alone when I rest in God. I know I'm home. There is no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is not. 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 There is no spot where God is not.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Little Rock. Happy Mother's Day. It's a beautiful spring day, and to me that's a great can I say that word today? Is it going to be one of those days? It's a great exclamation of our honoring and recognizing Mother in all things. Mother's in our lives, but the divine Mother, the Mother that is our planet, Gaia itself. So today we get to honor that, we get to recognize that in our personal lives, but in us as a whole. So yay to Mother's Day in honor of that. Behave yourself back there, Dave. He's flashing signs at us up here. Goodness. So today I invite you, as you're saying hi to each other here in this moment, as we do our meet and greet, to acknowledge the mother. Yes, that might be the female, but to acknowledge that there's a divine feminine in us all, and that the boys are part of that divine feminine makeup too. We're not one or the other, we have both. So acknowledge that and honor that in each other. So why don't you, in our meet and greet, say hi.
everyone please return to your places? You may continue to hug from a seated position. Please do not hurt your backs. Make sure that your lower back is supported while you embrace each other. And for those of you who would like to sing, you may also do so.
Look, Sherry, I'm using one of your drums. And the football, too. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Join us this healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life.
Thank you. Thank you for this Spirit. Thank you for this Spirit that's in our life. Thank you for the Spirit that is in our lives. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I invite you to join me in our opening prayer. There is an ever-present sanctuary of love and joy and peace within our hearts. Today we savor this sweet presence in our lives. We trust that all we need is provided and that all is well. The living truth of divine mind speaks to us in immeasurable ways. We still our body. We still our mind. We relax completely. We surrender ourselves into the silence that is the presence and power of God unimpeded in our lives. There is a holy presence within us. We release all feelings of hurt and anger and resentment. We know true forgiveness and see each other as part of divine mind. Let our words and our actions serve only to reflect healing, comfort, and harmony in all of life. We give thanks for the mothers in our lives who taught us nurturance, compassion, commitment, dedication, and love. Mothers are the living expression of the divine, being the hands, voice, and heart of God in action. And like a mother, we let our love and light radiate to all people and to be an inspiration to help lift up others. Being aware of the sacred presence within us, as us, we are a blessing to all those lives that we touch. And as we grow closer to the fullness of the realization that divine love is our true nature, we open deeply and say yes. Yes to the sweet presence that sings in our hearts. And knowing that all is well. And so it is. Amen. The lighting of our Christ candle is a symbol for us. But it's meant to be a symbol to remind us of the truth of who we are. This flame up here isn't just the flame up here. This is the flame that's in all of our hearts. It's the connection that we are to the one divine source. Remembering that that one divine source shines brightly within all of us. And this candle is to remind us that that is the Christ within us. So as we light it, we get to acknowledge and honor that light within ourselves, knowing that we can see that light within others as well. And if you'll join me in our statement of being, together, I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect light, perfect love, and perfect substance.
So this next song, actually, Vonda wanted to do for this week, and then she got called out of town to work, which is, well, it's good for her, but kind of put us in a bind. So we reached out to Amanda, and Amanda came and pinch hitting. And I also just wanted to mention that we've already done our two feature artist songs of this month. Karen Drucker, the first two songs were hers. So this one's Feeding the Soul. Searching for answers, searching for truth, just had to break bread, the feast was before me. Just had to break bread, the feast was before me. I had breakfast with an angel who fed my body and my soul. And I was going nowhere, 'cause nowhere was my goal. These habits of not owning up to what is mine to do are keeping me from sharing what is true. Are keeping me from sharing what is true.
With my friend Jesus, he made this point to me, that limiting desires is not the way to be. To keep one's talents hidden is not the point at all. You have to learn to trust, stop playing small. You have to learn to trust, stop playing small.
Hallelujah, be thy name, Spirit has lit my flame. I'll never be the same. Hallelujah, be thy name, Spirit has lit my flame. I'll never be the same.
I never felt such love.
I used to think he was a guy that ruled from up above.
But now I know the truth. This presence lives inside my heart.
All that I was searching
inside me from the start. Hallowed be thy name, Spirit has lit my flame. I'll never be the same. Hallowed be thy name, Spirit has lit my flame. I'll never be the same. Hallowed be thy name, Spirit has lit my flame. I'll never be the
Thank you. Being Mother's Day, I've had an opportunity, fortunately in my life, to have many Mother's Days with my mother. She's not with me anymore, not in the physical form anyway. But I look back on some of those days, and I heard Amy talking about that she was going to a really fancy lunch restaurant today, right? I think she called it Taco Bell, wasn't that it? Yes. We put our mother through that too in my family, of taking her to places that she probably didn't want to be, in the willingness to let us honor her on Mother's Day. Our mothers have provided us a lot. They've taught us a lot, and they did that directly and indirectly. They did that lovingly, compassionately, and on the other end of the spectrum from that too. So today, we're going to talk a little about mothers, and we're going to get the opportunity to share some stories today. I looked at some definitions of mothers, and here's one of the very first ones I found. It was mother, noun, one person who does the work of 20 for free. And then it says, see, masochist, loony, saint. And I thought that was perfect. That was a pretty good one. One of the next ones I found was a skilled person with specialisms in logistical management, event planning, negotiation, and the location of lost items. Possible mind-reading capabilities. There's, to me, no possible in there. Absolutely, mind-reading capabilities. Can survive on little to no sleep. Works for free, superhero. To me, that one worked as well. Mothers have in so many different ways impacted our lives. Not that our men, the males in our lives, our fathers, they too have impacted us. But mothers seem to have a very special place and a special way that they shape us. I'm getting a little feedback, please. We want our mothers in our lives often. I have to say, sometimes we don't want our mothers in our lives. And maybe that's because of the way they interacted with us. Or maybe we feel like we've matured, we've grown up, and we don't need them the same way. But I found that the older I got, the more important my mother became in my life. Not that she wasn't important to begin with, but my recognition of that changed. I, every year, read this. I'm going to share it with y'all. I am sure many of you have heard this, but I enjoy it, so I'm going to share it again this Mother's Day. These are just things that my mother taught me. And this one begins, there's just 6, 8 of these. My mother taught me logic. If you fall off that swing and break your neck, I am not taking you to the store. My mother taught me humor. And my mother said this one: if that lawnmower cuts off your foot, don't come running to me. My mother taught me genetics. You are just like your father. She also taught me anticipation. Just wait until your father gets home. She taught me about receiving. You're going to get it when I get home. She also taught me about religion, and she said this one to me too. Right? You better pray that comes out of the carpet. She taught us about stamina. You'll sit there until all that spinach is finished. Mine was Brussels sprouts. She also taught us about the circle of life. Maybe I don't want to say a hands of how many this was said to. I brought you into the world, and I can take you out. That doesn't fit my mother's persona, but it's not that she didn't ever say it. She did. That one came out too. And then she taught about justice. One day you'll have kids, and I hope they're just like you. Mothers are teaching us nurturance, compassion, patience, dedication, sainthood. That list is full and long for the things that we could have learned from our mother. And the beauty of that is there's so many things that we learn that we don't remember, that we don't even recognize that we learned from our mothers. But today we're going to share a little about those experiences that we've had. You know, there's a story of a guy, he's going to get married, and his hypercritical mother has not met the bride-to-be. So he wants to bring her home, introduce her to mom, but he wants to get really what's her real opinion, not just her critical, here's the woman you're going to marry opinion. So he thinks of a strategy. He gets 3 other female friends, and they all come home and have dinner with their mother. And when the dinner's over, the 4 women leave, and he turns to mom and says, "Mom, can you figure out which one I'm going to marry?" She goes, "Yeah, the short-haired one." He was like, "Yes, how did you know?" Her response, "She's the one I didn't like." Sometimes we don't have great relationships with our mothers, and I want to acknowledge that too. Some of us may have had no relationship with our mother in our lives. So today, as we honoring mothers, maybe it's hard for us to, in that situation, to say we want to honor our mother, because our mother may have been human and struggled in their life as well. But I'm going to offer to you that mother still taught us something. Even a mother that wasn't in our life taught us something indirectly, whether maybe it's about absence and what it means to not have in our lives, thus how we can work on being the person that then in turn has it in our lives. Mothers, no matter how they presented themselves, offered us something in our lives. So now I would like to, Scott, would you come just set this mic up for me, please? I'm going to bring up some people, and they're going to share some of their mother's stories, and they're going to share the things that their mother taught them.
I want everybody to give me a big good morning.
Good morning.
What? Good morning! Thank you. And I want to, first of all, praise each and every one of you for giving of yourself, your mother's self, to the life that you live, giving to others in your work, in your friendships, in your gardens, in your shopping, in your, wherever you are, that you spread the love of yourself to others. Thank you very much. My mom, most don't know, came from the country Latvia, which is in Northern Europe. She came through the Second World War and traversed through walking, wagons, trains, and eventually ended up in a German work camp, and then came to the United States in 1948. Her mother was a school teacher, and at that time in that country, they lived in the same home, in the home where they taught schools. So Mom was always going to school. And anyway, when she used to try and talk to me most times about what I needed to do and what I needed to be and how I needed to react to people. And I would listen calmly and go do whatever I wanted to. And around the 2nd grade, we used to play outside quite a bit, and that's what kids did back then. And we would play, I loved to play Army, Cowboys, and Indians. And then we had Red Rover, you know, where you make the people rope and then you break the chain. And I would love to win. It was the most important thing to me to be the toughest kid in the neighborhood. And I was pretty tough for a little girl at that time. And Mom said, okay, Linda, you know, the way you're acting, pretty soon you're not going to have any friends. You play too hard, too rough. And of course, being a young upstart, I didn't listen. And I one day woke up and went out to prepare to play with my friends, and when I approached, they would leave. They walked away. And this went on for several days, and I was hurt. And I went to my mom and I said, Mom, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm so hurt. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to play with me. And she said, well, you remember that conversation we had? And I said, yes. And I said, well, how do I fix it? She says, you need to go and talk to each of your friends and tell them you're sorry and tell them that, you know, you'll play more fair in the future. And so I did. I went to my friend's house, knocked on the door. They didn't really want to talk to me, but I asked them kindly, please, I want to tell you I'm sorry for being such a hard child playing with you. And anyway, they invited me in. And at that time in my life, I did not like dolls. I did not like making patty cakes and letting them dry in the sun. But they wanted to play dolls and dress up, and I did because they were my friend. And from that point on, it shaped my life, and it was, you know, you've heard the saying, it's not win or lose, it's how you play the game. And so I don't try to win. I like to do my best. But I take it one day at a time, and then even when I worked, I try and see that how the other person feels, how life impacted them. So, and if we were in a game, a table game or whatever, as I got older, you know, some people really had that desire to win. And if I lost, it was no big deal. I mean, it was just part of playing the game. You know, you give, and when you lose, you do it graciously. When you win, you do it humbly. And my mom taught me those kinds of lessons, and I could tell you a few more, and not all of them were successful through talking, I must say. So, thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Linda. I love that. I guess I'm going to have to talk with Russ here. Even when Russ was knuckleheaded as a child, okay, there were still things that were sinking in, and maybe you weren't knuckleheaded, Linda, but as a child, it's amazing what we do learn, what we do pick up, what we do absorb. Pam, would you come forward? Pam, we don't usually get to see because she's sitting in the back corner back there, working hard for us.
I like to hide behind the camera, usually. He called me the other day, and Preston, and was letting me know that he was doing this. And I was sitting there trying to think of what story would I tell about my mom. And so I let it, and then this morning I thought of it. It was something that I'd noticed, but at a later time in my life. And my mother was born and raised in Arkansas. Her name was Kathy, and she had a very difficult childhood. And throughout all that, she really didn't have her mother at all. And matter of fact, it came to a point where her mother had actually done so much that it's like you didn't ever think there was any going back. And my mom started working for Pathfinders, and I noticed one time at Christmas time, there was some people that were left behind at the group home that she worked at. She would always bring them over to her house. Oh. And they would always bring her over to her house, and always make them feel like, they had somebody there even though their family wasn't there for them. So it was her job, but she took it to another level each time, and still does. She's still in contact. Even though she's retired, she's still in contact with most of those people and goes and see them regularly. And I started noticing that my mom didn't have too many friends, and she always worked, and I always, being a teenager, think, oh, she didn't want to spend time with me. She didn't have the time to spend. She was trying to keep us fed and looked after it the best way she knew how. And when I was an adult, she tried to apologize for that, and I was like, Mom, I see it through different eyes now. I see that you didn't have time. I was just a teenager moaning and complaining because I had to take care of my brother and sister all the time. And I realized, at a later date, everything that my mom went through, and looking at her with new eyes and reflecting back now, her service to others. I think that is the biggest lesson that I've gotten out of watching her, and selflessly most of her friends ended up being her family. Her cousins and stuff like that she grew up with. And it seems like every black sheep of the family, from our family, my mom goes and takes care of them, takes them places. Well, here recently, her mother became ill, and she was going through a horrible thing with this man that was stealing all her money and everything like that. My mom just, no questions asked, she was there. She takes care of her every day, and I even heard another family member say, how could she take care of her after what she's done to her? And my mom goes, you have to look past that. And my mom, I don't think, ever has realized what she does do for other people. And if, besides myself, somebody else was talking about her, how she just gives and gives and gives. I've really never seen her even take a day to herself or do anything for herself. We've gotten better at, getting her presents and stuff, but if there was work to be done, she'd work. I've never seen her lounge around, never. In my whole entire life, I've never seen my mom lounge around. Or the house not clean, or, everything all in order. And when I noticed that she did that for others, I wanted to do that. I wanted to imitate that, because I look back at my life and everything that I've gone through, those are the people now that I can help. And so she taught me that just don't think about it, just do it. Just be there, be present. She didn't teach me that, but I've learned that. And I want to be present in this moment and honor her with my heart. And I'm very grateful, because we spent most of our life not talking, because I was in the military thinking that, what I think, and we just didn't talk, and we became close. Now we're closer than ever. And I'm just very grateful for that, and the fact that she can just forgive so much and tell us to look beyond that. And it helped me with other family members. I just want to say thank you and happy Mother's Day to everybody, and that was the lesson that I learned.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. So I heard selfless service and forgiveness in the midst of all that with your mother, Pam. Thank you. Miss Becky.
I worked for the government for 35 years, and I have a controlled message, okay? So I wrote it down. Because I go off topic, and I just won't stick to it. So I'm just going to read it to you, if that's okay. Thank you for your indulgence. It's a wonderful opportunity to give a tribute to my mom, because I love her so much. As I thought about a story I wanted to tell about my mom, I thought about how I could help all of you see the beauty of her spirit and the childlike zest for life and living that she has had all of her life. She shows me that I want to be the best person I can be. Mom has always had a sunny disposition, though dramatic at times, but was given the wrong messages when she was very young. She thought something was wrong with her, and that is why everyone did not love her or care for her. She was a wonderful young lady, cast aside by society, not yet ready to help those children in America that did not eat, did not have access to health care or appropriate clothes to wear. Her mother was bipolar or some similar disorder, but she was beautiful. She married 4 or 5 times in a time when divorce was a dirty word. Her mother loved her to the extent she could. Mom could have blamed the world. It's a similar story to most people for being cast aside, but she wanted a better world for her children, and she went about making it a better one. My mom always had help that she listened to. She was always multisensory. That was a recurring theme I was hearing. If she would have always believed what she knew, I would have never gotten away with anything. I'm telling you. She also would have made lots of money on the frozen yogurt idea and many others, which she had way before, and she said, this is going to be big, you know? She taught me that I could listen to my small voice and believe in myself, all while I calmed her out of believing in what she knew, like any kid. Her children were her salvation and her curse. She sees the goodness in everyone and finds it almost impossible to get and stay mad at anyone, with the exception of my dad for a short period of time while she was divorcing him. I mean, we'll give her that. Most notably, my mom never hated anyone and wouldn't talk bad about her parents, even though some of their behavior was scary and or neglectful. She loved them because they were family and had given her life, and she loves life. She has stood by a sister more affected by the upbringing than her, who does not show any love or compassion. She, as well as many others, have criticized, looked down upon, and made fun of my mom's zest for life and her loving and forgiving spirit. Yes, my mom is different, but she's very good different. My mom's 3 daughters also thought they were better than her. They have said and done, including me, hurtful things, but my mom continued to love us and forgive us for anything we did. She continues to try to mend relationships with people I personally don't think deserve it, but that's how she teaches me. That is who my mom is, a bridge builder. She is a magnet to others who do not feel loved and accepted in life, and she loves to be around people. I know that she has impacted many lives with her unique connection to the source, one at a time. She always leaves them better than when they first began their relationship with her. Because of her willingness to love in spite of outward behavior, and to continue trying and having the intention of a better outcome, she teaches me that forgiving, allowing nothing to be taken personally, allows me to let go, relax, and be myself in her presence. It is great to be her daughter, and I am continually in great respect and awe. My mom understands what is really important in life, and is shining beacon for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Becky. Love without conditions. And how many of us had the mother that they were psychic? They knew what we were up to all the time. My mother was masterful at being in the kitchen in which she could not see the den and would go, Russ, what are you doing? And it was always something that I should not have been doing. At the exact moment that I was doing it, it was like, how did she know? Dave is going to come up here and share with us now. Are you going to bring signs? They don't know you were flashing signs yet, other than me telling them. Okay. Would you come on up, Dave, please. That's racist, just a little.
Thank you very much. I was sitting there thinking, all these people are going to say all the things that I wanted to say. And so they did, so thank you. I'm all done. No, I don't have a big book like she did, but I do have a few little notes that I wrote down to keep me on track. I kept changing the different things I was going to say a little bit, but it's pretty short. I love my mother very, very much. She's a very special lady. Many of you have met her. She's come to visit. She lives in North Carolina now. My home was Conway, and where my mom and dad and I live, and my sisters. And she lives in North Carolina now with my sister, and she's 91, May 1st. And she's been to this church many different times, and I think met a lot of you. And many people always tell you, you're so lucky. She's such a special lady. And I guess I kind of take it for granted a lot sometimes. But I was thinking as Russ called the other day, what she really taught me was, or one of the most important things. I could talk about an hour and a half about all the things she taught me, but I was thinking of what is the main thing I'm getting really right now, and I sort of thought about it and let the Spirit move me a little bit, and it wasn't long at all, he can tell you. And I came up with, she taught me, one thing that comes up a lot is our differences. We're a lot the same, but we're so very, very different. She's very, very conservative. She's very opposite politically from me. She is Catholic. I was raised Catholic until 2000, came to Unity. And I believed quite different things than I do now, but gradually moved into Unity, and the Spirit moved me to be enlightened, I guess, and think of things in other ways. But she's very, very open to that. She's very accepting about that. In fact, I thought when I first told her that I was going to, join Unity and that I was leaving the Catholic Church, I'll never forget that Thanksgiving. And I thought that would be the biggest problem with her. And it actually was with my dad. What are you doing? Why would you want to do that? And she said, it's okay, just let him do that. That's him. And my sisters were very supportive too. But what I thought about was our differences and how it's really made me more open, more understanding, and more tolerant of people that are different than me, or think different than me, or act different than me. And this is really, really what was important to me. I just thought about this morning. I was getting ready to come to church, watering the flowers and everything, and my brother who's come back to live with me smokes. And he doesn't smoke in the house, and he respects, what I believe. But he's smoking on the front porch, and I smell smoke all over the place. And I just thought, anger just came up inside of me, and I just can't stand to be around smoke. I just can't stand it. It just really goes against my grain. And thought, no, that's him. He doesn't smoke very much at all. He's pretty good about it. We've had several discussions about it, but I have to understand that that's him. This is me, and just kind of accept it. And there's so many different ways that I have, applied that. When my mother's come to this church, and she's been here many, many times, whenever she visits, we go to the Catholic Church, her church, IC first, on Saturday night, and Sunday morning she comes here. And last time she's here, every time she's here, she wants to shake the hand and meet every single person here. I thought, when I go to the Catholic Church, I don't really want to meet a lot of people, but that's her. She's open, loving, accepting of all different people, and that's the way she's really kind of taught me to be too. So, well, thank you. that's what I've got. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Yes, the first time I met your mother, Dave, I knew she was special because I felt like she, in her little bitty frame, like she picked me up in her love and compassion that she was sharing with me. That was instantaneous. You know it sometimes when you meet people, just how you just feel like they have you in their arms, and that's the way I experienced it. So thank you, Dave. Tam, would you come share with us, please?
I'm not singing. So the other day, Russ asked me if I'd like to share a story about my mother, and my first reaction was, she wasn't in my life that long because she passed from cancer when I was like 10 and a half. So I don't have a lot of memories of her, but I started thinking about it and what I do here with the music, and she is the person who installed that love of music in me because she insisted, not just me, but all my brothers and sisters, she insisted that we all take piano lessons. So that kind of got me started in loving music, and I do remember also, like if we were coming back from a trip in the car, how we would be singing songs like Jesus Loves Me and things like that. So she had a real passion for music, and I'm not really sure where that came from because I don't remember there being a piano in the home that she grew up in, because I used, obviously my grandmother outlived her, and I used to spend some time there. But she was a music lover, and I remember she used to encourage us to sing at church, to do like talent shows at the school, which I hated because I was very, very shy. But I did it, of course, did my best. And I think the other thing that she may have taught me in her, the short time that we had together was, one of the things I love is to encourage other people, to be a champion for other people, to encourage them. And I think back, the only person that might have been in my life that could have instilled that in me was my mother, because I don't remember anybody else necessarily having, being that way. I don't remember anybody else encouraging me much after she took her leave of the planet. So I'm not to say my dad was not an encouraging person, but he wasn't strongly that way. I mean, he was more subtle about it. So even in that short time, there were some things that, of course, that I learned from my mother. And I think my biggest regret is not getting to know, I didn't get to know her as an adult, So I only have this memory of her as a mother, where so many of you have had this experience of getting to know your mother as you grew and as an adult, and it's a whole different person. And even though maybe you had some issues with your mother growing up, as you get older and mature and stuff, you stop and think you had that opportunity to be like, oh, okay, you're not such a bad, terrible person after all, are you? You're just a human being. So that's my story about my mom. Thanks.
Thank you, Tam. Thank you, Tam. And Tam's a great example of our mothers inspiring us and supporting us, encouraging us, and that others get to reap the benefits of that. So thank you, Tam. Thank you. I hope these stories maybe reminded you of your own stories. The opportunities in our lives that our mothers gave us, supported us in. I did something once in my life that my mother, I don't think hate is too strong of a word. And in some ways I know that it hurt her, but in her hurt, she still said, well, if you need to do it, you SOV, go and do it. Okay? She was angry about it, but she freed me and allowed me to go do that. She didn't in any way try to harm me, shame me, guilt me. She set me free and let me go experience it. And of course, what did I learn was, I don't want to be doing that at all. of which I wouldn't have known if she hadn't given me the opportunity to go adventure where I adventured. Our mothers hold that sacred space for us. To me, our mothers are the divine in action. That if we're willing to take a look at our mothers, we see that God is present there. The way that they support us, loved us, had compassion, their dedication to us, being unrelenting in their lives when it is not easy to be a mother, correct, mothers? I mean, that sometimes feels very thankless, and it most certainly it is not a part-time job. It's full-time. Some months it seems like it's non-existent, that there was anything other than being a mom every moment of existence for us. But our mothers still have a willingness to do that. Beautifully at times, and maybe imperfectly at times, but nonetheless always sharing, giving, being that love for us. There's a verse in the book of Peter that says, above all, maintain constant love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins. And just think sins as misperceptions. Could have looked at it differently, and we chose one that seemed to hinder us instead of help us. So maintain constant love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins. To me, that is what mothers did. Maintained a constant opportunity for us to experience that love in our lives. And now we get to give that back if our mothers are still in our lives. But we also, having learned the many things that we learned from our mothers, we get the opportunity to give those back. Maybe not to our mother, maybe, hopefully, luckily, we do, but we get to give to many, many other people in our lives. Maybe it's now we get to share with our grandkids that which our mother taught us. But we also get to share it with our friends, with the people that are our co-workers, sometimes the people that are just our acquaintances in our lives. What we're sharing with them is often the love and the variation of that our mothers taught us. So today, as we go back out into the world, I hope that we look around and see those women in our lives and appreciate them for being that mother that has a hard job, but also to look around and know that that mother is reflected in so much of world, of humanity, but this planet, that there's a nurturance, there's a love, there's a compassion, there's a dedication, there's a conviction. And to me, that is a spirit in motion for us. And to recognize that divine feminine is alive in our lives in so many ways. So what today? So what about what we had shared with us? What are you going to do with that? What is it that you're going to do with it? To me, this is your opportunity to decide. Just like sometimes it was our opportunity to decide what we're going to do with what our mother gave us. Are we going to pick this up and make this a part of our life, or are we going to stand at arm's length from it, or run hard from it? You get to decide. And I hope that that's also what you learned from your mothers. In this moment, as I ask you, so what, is the ability to decide for yourself, to choose for yourself. What do you make of this? What do you make of your life? So what? And as we move into meditation, perhaps you get to think about that and the other stories of your mother's life. Dave, you going to come share with us? If you'll use this microphone, if you'll be close to it, please. Dave is going to play the flute for us today. I'm going to lead us into our meditation, and we're going to get to listen and enjoy Dave. So most of our meditation today will be in the music. So Join me. Relax. Gently close your eyes if you'd like. Taking a big, deep breath. And letting that go, releasing it. Releasing your body. Releasing your need, your thoughts, your ideas that have been wandering through your head. And allow yourself to be here, to be present. To feel the chair, the pew, putting its pressure on your body. Your feet on the floor. Awareness of where your hands are. Know that this place is sacred. This space holds the divine nature. And that you are that divine nature. And each breath allows you to drop deeper into the conscious awareness of your divine presence within you. And as Dave begins playing the flute, I want you to think of your mother, or think of the mothers you have known, or think of the stories that were shared today. And where does that take your heart? How is spirit in action touching you, providing to you today? And just allow those stories and those awarenesses to be a part of your experience now. Our divine nature is always unfolding with clarity and beauty in our lives. The ideas, the thoughts, the stories, the remembrances are all part of that discovery. So anything that came to us in this time is supporting ourselves in more deeply recognizing our own spiritual consciousness. So as you bring your awareness back to your bodies, seated in the pews, feet on the floor, noting that rise and fall of your breath, remember who you are. Remember where you have come. Remember where you have been in your life. Remember the mothers that have touched us in so many profound ways. And to remember that that same divine feminine is alive in all of us. Embracing, nurturing, loving. And as you fully bring your presence back to this space and open your eyes, know that you bring with you that same nurturance, that same love, that same compassion, that same dedication. You too are that mother in the world who needs and desires that same love. And so it is. Amen.
Dave, thank you for sharing that flute with us. That was very nice. It is Mother's Day, so we need to do a Mother's Day song, and this is an offering from Karen Taylor Good, who I had the good fortune of seeing play several times back in Michigan, and I saw her again at the Posse Fest. My first home was in your womb. Thank you for the lovely room. My first home was your home too, and you shared with me, and you cared for me as only a mom can do. The ocean's floor is deeper, no perfume is sweeter, and no gift is given freer than a mother's love.
My first steps were at your side. Each success fed by your pride. You always held out a loving hand, and you hold me and enfold me as only a mother can do. No ocean's floor is deeper, no perfume is sweeter, and no gift is given freer than a mother's love. Sometimes I drive you crazy. Sometimes you drive me there too. But the ties are strong, so it don't take long. The love comes pouring through. The ocean's floor is deeper. No perfume is sweeter, and no gift is given freer than a mother's love. A mother's love. Oh, mother's love. Thank you for sweet mother's love.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thanks to the music team. Thanks to Jeannie. Thank to you, Dave, definitely. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. Thank you. This is the opportunity to share your prosperity and abundance with this community. Not just your financial abundance, but holding and sharing from that prosperous, generous place and seeing and envisioning this community as that same prosperous and generous place. So I invite you to take your gifts in hand, if you give online, to hold it in mind and join me in our offering affirmation. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing under roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
I've been here before, I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew ya. I've seen your flag on the marble arch, but love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, there was a time when you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show that to me, do ya? But remember when I moved in you, and the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot at someone who outdrew ya. And it's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I want them to do it again. Is it time for announcements?
Time for announcements.
Oh, man.
This Friday, Sounds of Unity, and Richard Gray is going to be the special guest with, did you want to say something about that, Bill? You're just saying,
Yay!
oh, that's right, Bill's got to go out of town for his job, so he won't be here. Call Laura Lynn if anybody else is willing that they can come and help. And usually the cafe opens at 6:30, and so people can come and enjoy refreshments before the music starts at 7. So 5:36 would be good, and contact Laura Lynn if you can help out with that. And Saturday, May 19th is WOW, and we're going to do Happiness Rocks. And what that is that we're going to take these beautiful rocks that have been found out in nature. Look at those beauties. And as Cowboy Jim told me that the Native Americans refer to rocks as grandfather, because they're wise. They have a lot of stories to tell. So if you hold on to them, sometimes you'll get a special message from them. These are ones that I have found that I am willing to share with you. I want everybody to come, not just the gals, but the guys, kids, families, please, all come. And our very own Kathy Hardy is going to lead us in this. She is bringing the paint and the brushes, and we're going to paint them with some beautiful affirmations, such as the word gratitude, put a heart on them, and then Kathy's going to explain how we're going to put them out in the community for others to find to brighten up their day. So please come join us.
Thank you. And I wanted to let you know that the board minutes are on the bulletin board that's in our foyer area out here, the vestibule, and that those are up usually within the week after the board meeting for the previous board meeting. But just letting you know that so that y'all start thinking that there's a place that you can read about what's the board been doing, what's taking place. Also, I want to say a special thank you to Bill Bennett, Jerry Blake, Jeannie Bailey, Tam Andrews, and Amy Clark, who came yesterday and painted the children's room back there. So if you poke your head back there, you'll see it's a wonderful blue. This blue, actually. But thank y'all for taking the time and energy to do that. And now it's for y'all, come help us create that children's program. Your time and commitment will be very little, I promise you. This is once a month at most for your commitment. So come, help us create a place that young families can bring their children so that they can be exposed and grow up in unity, as some of you in this room did. But we need to offer that opportunity. So please come help with that. Amanda? Do we know Amanda? Amanda? Just so that y'all can prepare, Amanda will be speaking on the 27th. So she will be back with us at the end of the month on Potluck Sunday. So come and hear Amanda share with us what's always a fun message. So come join us then. What else?
Beverly Pryor's coming June 10th.
Yes, and she is doing not only speaking on Sunday, but doing a class on Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday afternoon, and this one is on discovering your purpose. So it's a very purpose-focused opportunity. You know, all of us scratch our heads from sometimes for what's our purpose in life? What are we doing? How do we complete that? How do we fill that in better? That's what her program is. I've been to several classes with Beverly. She does a masterful job. So come and join us on June 10th, that weekend. Yes. Anything else?
Circle time.
Circle, please join us in our Unity Circle.
Everybody.
Thank you. And before we do our, come on, come back. There we go. I would like for us to do a blessing, to bless mothers, motherhood, the mother. So if you'll join us, remember, your heart flows forth, and it flows not only out in our words and our love, but we can physically flow it, and we can flow it out our hands as well. So if you're so inclined, I invite you to use your hands to help support that flow. But to hold the blessing, and we're going to repeat that blessing for all that have been in our life and the lives of others. So if you'll join together, we bless you, we love you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ you are. Now that's advanced for 42 slides. And our closing affirmation together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Oh, I very subtly changed one word. And go ahead, just start playing, Bill. In the peace song, so I want to see how many of you notice this week. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. Let
us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Please begin with me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous wow. Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Hey God.